line with us. He is the libertarian economist and president of the Market Institute. He has a new book out called Profit Motive: What Drives the Things We Do. His website is marketinstitute.org, and you can tweet him at Charles Sauer, S-A-U-E-R. Charles, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me on, Tom.
Oh, it's always great talking with you, Charles. So Sinclair Broadcasting now owns 270 some odd television stations. They're trying to jack that up to close to 300. And now the news is out about this bizarre hostage video that they did. Meanwhile, we're seeing, I'm just looking at this morning's deal book email from the New York Times. In offering to buy Sky News outright, Walt Disney is hoping to finally win regulatory approval for Fox's bid to buy 61% of Sky that it doesn't already own. Fox itself has proposed making Sky News fully separate. The bottom line, Disney wants Fox to have full control of Sky to support its $52 billion effort to buy most of Fox, and it wants to get ahead of Comcast. So Comcast and Disney are competing for who gets to buy Sky and maybe a large chunk of Fox, and it's like, it sure seems to me, Charles, competition seems dead. You walk through American cities and you don't see local businesses anymore. Actually, there's quite a few of them here in Honolulu, but I think that they must have some pretty strict regulations. Our host was telling me yesterday that none of the big national banks are here either. So, but it seems like everywhere else in the United States, we have entered the cancer stage of capitalism. Your thoughts on how we avoid this? What do we do when basically, small and medium-sized businesses simply can no longer exist?
Yeah, well, we need to remove the rules and regulations that were put there by the cronies to stop the competition, right? So,
For example,
we've talked about it on the show before, but John D. Rockefeller, when he was, running his oil business, he was lobbying for rules and for regulations that hurt competitors and that he could comply with. Or if we're talking about Facebook, who's in the news right now, the odds are is that some sort of privacy regulation will come out of Congress in the end, and it's something that Facebook itself can easily adapt to, but the next Facebook is going to have a problem competing. I think there was a book in the 70s on this, The Triumph of Conservatism. This is the exact same argument again. Business leaders come in, get regulations in place, and the left cheers it, but the fact is that it hurts competitors in the future.
Nice speech, Charles, but I don't know what you're talking about. What regulation is it that allows Walmart to come into a town and wipe out the local competition with below market pricing in the first year or two? What regulation is it that allows these massive mergers that used to be forbidden by the Sherman Antitrust Act? What am I missing here? I thought this was all just because Reagan in '83 stopped enforcing the Sherman Act.
The Sherman Act is a problem in and of itself. But if you look at what Walmart has to do to come into a city, as you said, you don't see them in Honolulu, or in Hawaii. The problem for the people there
actually
is
there is a Walmart here.
If there wasn't one, if there's not the other big boxes there, which you say there isn't, it makes cost of living more expensive for the people on the island. That's a problem. But when Walmart comes into a city, they have to jump through hoop after hoop because of different zoning laws, because of hoops that, communities have put in place. And that makes it, it's something that Walmart can navigate. Well, no, the here is, you don't have to feel sorry for Walmart. The fact is that they can navigate it. The problem is that the next Walmart, the person who's going to run a business, the Thom Hartmann megastore, it's the one that has all of the fair trade goods. It has all of the products you want. It's impossible for you to get the big box store in that neighborhood.
Well, I'm not trying to get a big box store. I'm trying to run a local business in this thought experiment here. And I still don't know what regulation you are talking about, Charles.
Well, I just mentioned
unless
the
you're
zoning
just,
one. If we go
anti-regulation.
back to John D. Rockefeller,
you're opposed to zoning laws? Really?
Yeah, zoning laws are. You asked for one for me to mention one. The zoning laws are something that hold back small competitors. We can look at intellectual property laws. see the.
Wait a minute. How does zoning law? I mean, zoning laws are where communities say we want a certain standard of quality here. If you're gonna build your Walmart, you have to at least put sidewalks in. You know, the traffic has to be organized in a way that isn't a mess. I mean, it's really pretty remarkable if you visit a city. For example, Portland, Oregon is I think one of the most regulated cities in America, and you know, outside of the bridge, the I-5 bridge, which they tried to expand a couple of years ago, and a local right-wing crazy host, you know, basically got everybody to shoot it down. But outside of that, you know, it's pretty reasonable. I mean, they're very, you know, they've organized the streets and organized one-ways and whatnot in such a way that you can get around, you can find parking, there's parks, it's got more green than any other city in America. The quality of life is really great. On the other hand, you go up to Anchorage, Alaska, which has very few zoning laws. Maybe they're getting some now, but the last time I was there was about 6 years ago, and you know, you've got subdivisions with no sidewalks. Kids can't safely, you know, live or walk on the streets or in the streets. Actually, it's their only option. You've got, you know, just a hodgepodge of stuff. It's a mess, and you know, yeah, it supports rapid growth, but it just devastates the quality of life.
Well, so
what's wrong with zoning laws? We have a minute, by the way, Charles.
As opposed to innovation, you know, you support a clean sidewalk or something. I think that this is just a trade-off that communities need to
no, you can have innovation and sidewalks, Charles.
No, you can't. Well, you're going to have less.
If you're going to play the game of business, you just play by the damn rules. Come on.
The more hurdles that you put in front of a small business, the harder it is for them to get traction. I mean, look.
Small businesses are not buying an entire city block and having to put sidewalks in.
Look, we can go to
you know, this canard of, oh, we're all in favor of the small business. You know, I'm trying to get the small business to survive in America. I don't see them anymore. I'm seeing them wiped out because Reagan stopped enforcing the Sherman Act.
Yeah, come on. We can go back to another darling of the left, LBJ, and see what he did with media and the radio stations, and how he hurt small businesses by using regulations to keep other stations out of the markets that he wanted in.
Radio stations seemed to work really well in the 60s and 70s. It was in the 80s. But, well, anyhow, we're hitting the break. Charles Sauer. Charles, thanks for being with us.